Hi, my name is Groana Melendez. I'm an interdisciplinary artist from New York City. Tia Luchi from 2008 is a photograph of my aunt on my father's side of the family. So this image is a part of my series Ni Aquí ni Allá, translated as Neither Here Nor There. It's a series of portraits of my family in New York City and Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. I was born in the United States but raised between both cities. And I created the series from a need to understand my roots and ancestry. Ni Aquí ni Allá, Neither Here Nor There is the basis for my entire practice. All of my concerns really stem from it. It touches on my interests about identity, relationships, and overall socio-political concerns. In my practice, I see all of my work as interweaving together. I don't necessarily distinguish between different projects. They can all be intermixed, but also shown separately. Growing up, I wasn't able to trace my ancestry beyond my grandparents, so I started the project from this need to write down my history. Being from both places, both cities, I never felt like I quite belonged to either one, yet at the same time I was very much from both places. So because of that internal tension, I became very concerned with who I was and needing to know where I came from. So I started my practice with this goal of creating a family tree, which is what led me to photographing what I hope to be every member of my family.
Hi everyone, my name is Carolina Malagamba. We're here today with el Museo del Barrio. We're here to explore an artist called Groana Melendez. She's a photographer. She explores this concept of environmental portrait that we will be studying today. I myself am an artist, but I don't do photography. However, I can really identify with this concept of growing up in two cultures, countries, languages at the same time. And I think a lot of us, especially here in New York City, we can identify with this journey. So I want us to learn more about it. We're gonna have fun. We're going to meet a New Yorker aspiring photographer today, and we're gonna have a great time. Talking about journeys, I want to present to you my very special guest, Leila Fuentes. As you know, I'm not into photography, that's not my medium, so I did bring an aspiring artist who has more experience with photography, and I'm really interested in your view and your perspective on today's topic. First of all, though, I want you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you, tell us what brought you, what draws you to photography.
Hi, my name is Leila Fuentes, and I'm currently a senior in high school. In freshman year, I did a program called Expanding the Walls at the Studio Museum of Harlem, and that was what got me into photography. In the program, we learned about Black art and Black photographers, especially in Harlem, but really around the world. And even though I've shifted away from photography and into music, I think there's so many lessons to be learned from photography, from how to frame a story to how to appreciate aesthetics and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's super interesting because I think it's different types of storytelling, right? You shifted from photography, which is a very visual way of storytelling, to music, which is a very auditive form of storytelling. So that's super interesting. Now that we met Leila, I want to introduce the artwork that we will be studying today. It is a piece by Groana Melendez from a series called Ni de Aquí ni de Allá, and the piece that we chose is called Tia Luchi. And before we listen to what Leila has to say about it, I want us to take a minute to study the piece with our eyes, to look for observations. As we do so, let's try and focus on just observing. What do you see? No interpretations just yet. Just wandering over the image with your eyes, without attempting to understand what it all means. What colors, shapes, textures, objects can we identify? Feel free to pause the video for a minute as you explore the image. In the meantime, I will gather some observations with Leila. Okay, Leila, let's compare some notes. We're going to compare observations. Observations are just what do you see, very basic. Pretend I'm not able to see the image. You have the image up, I can't see it. What's going on?
So first we see a portrait. It seems like to be of a family member. There's a woman in the frame. She's slightly off center. You could tell based on the furniture and the way it's set up that this is a living room of some sort. There's a lot of browns and then 2 pops of color with the paintings.
That's very interesting. You mentioned that you think it's a family member. What makes you think so? Let's take it apart. Let's start interpreting. What does it all mean? Why do you think it's a family member?
Well, this had to be a family member capturing this moment because there's just a sense of comfortability that's established. And I used to take a lot of pictures of my family, and I know that without that relationship there, it's unable to really catch the intimacy of this moment, which I think this picture clearly has. And I mean, even how comfortable she's in her own space, I think that really speaks to the fact that it's a family member. If it was a random person in your house, you probably wouldn't be able to capture that. And speaking from my own experiences, I mean, most of the pictures I captured were of my family members. And yeah, I mean, I got to capture the authentic self because I was related to them, so yeah.
I agree. There's definitely a big level of intimacy going on in this image between the person portrayed and the person taking the photo, right? Is there anything else in that image that speaks to you, that makes you think of your own family?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's so many things that I feel like my Dominican household has, or like my grandparents' house has had. I noticed that there's a dried plant in the background, which my grandma used to have dried eucalyptus by the front door. The patterned couch, my grandma has something similar. And even the very neutral with pops of colors in the painting, it's just all very familiar to me.
I agree. I can definitely sense big tropical vibes from this image, which remind me of my own home of Mexico. So yeah, we can definitely, I think the both of us can definitely connect to this image on a very personal level.
Yeah.
What we're going to do next is that Leila's going to take us home and we're going to play a little bit. We're going to create our own environmental portrait of your parents. Do you think they're ready for it?
Yes.
All right, we've made it to Leila's. We're home. We're here.
Yes, we are.
Your dad is getting ready. While we wait, we're going to take apart what environmental portraits are. So a portrait generally is an image of a person. Today we're talking about a photo, right? But it doesn't have to be a photo. It can be a collage, it can be a drawing, a painting, it can even be poetry. So there's different types of portraits. Today we're talking about photos with Groana Melendez, inspired by Groana Melendez. Now, environment. That one is a little bit trickier. What is an environment? Usually an environment is our surroundings. It's the way we live. It's the conditions we live in. What do you think about that?
I mean, it makes sense. It kind of aligns perfectly with what you were saying about the Tia Lucci picture earlier, so I completely understand.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit what creates that intimacy that we've been talking about today, the sense of feeling comfortable, of being in a space that empowers you to be your own self. What do you have planned for your dad? You're going to take a portrait of your dad. Do you have any ideas, any elements that you want to include?
I mean, I kind of want to capture the same intimacies from the photographs we were looking at earlier, kind of finding aspects that I could see where my parents are most comfortable by like taking little items from the house or just taking spaces where they're comfortable, like my living room, and then using that to frame the picture and kind of tell the same story of closeness and intimacy captured in the photographs.
Amazing. Let's see what you come up with.
Okay, so for your image, what do you think is like essential to like capture your essence?
Well, first of all, I want to defer to you because you're the pro, but something Washington Heights related.
Of course. Okay, first things first, since you will be on the couch, it's important that we clear up the couch. There's too many pillows, so. Okay. Which one do you want to pick? It's going to be in the back over
I have to choose myself.
Okay. Okay, I had a feeling you were gonna say that. Here, take this one. I don't like this. I think that chair is awkwardly there. Can you go to the other side?
Over here?
Sit right in the middle here. That's where you're gonna sit. Yes.
How about me looking out the window like Malcolm?
No.
No? Okay.
I want to get a lower angle. I think that way there's more personality. I think it needs to be a little zoomed in.
Gotcha. You need me to smile with my eyes?
Yeah, you could smize.
And you got the joys and active resistance? You got that?
Yes, it's in the background.
Nice.
I'm gonna try a little zoomed out so you have a little more to work with. If you wanna try different faces, you could try that as well. Not that, please, not that.
Hip hop. I always do serious. I keep it serious.
Okay, go serious. Okay, yeah, you can't keep serious. Yes, I think we're good.
Nice. Let's do it.
All right, Leila, you played with the photo, you did your thing. What did you decide? How did you stage it? What objects did you pick? What's the story behind the setup that you decided on?
So, well, I was very intentional with everything, from where I placed everything to the pillows that were in the picture and even the angle that I got. By doing that, I felt like I was able to balance things more in a way that I wouldn't be able to. And so here are the 3 shots that I got. I feel like all of them kind of show different aspects of his personality. My dad never smiles in pictures. He thinks it's like corny. So I have one of him being goofy, and then I have one of him actually smiling.
Yeah, I like what you did with the perspective. You changed the perspective a little bit, the angle, the point of view. I think you did a great job. I love the end result, the photo. We all were able to see it. I want to invite everyone at home to create their own environmental portrait. If you do so, make sure to link us to #ElMuseo so that we can all see your work. Thank you, Leila, for being here, for opening your doors to us. Thanks to your dad for being a good sport. I think we had a lot of fun together.